good at words. Carol. No, my heart hurts. So I'm mad. Am I obsessed with this book? I buy a lot of books. It's no secret to anybody. Some might say I might buy too many books, but I buy a lot of books. And something I've come to notice is a lot of the books that I've bought purely because I've seen them talked about on Booktube or just book internet in general. And I thought a fun idea to get through some of these books would be to read some of these books and see if I can trust Booktube with my recommendations. The books I've decided to pick are Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, which, as you've probably already guessed, I heard about from Cat Paperback Dreams. She talks about this book a lot, and it'll be my first Alice Oseman novel, and I'm excited. The second book I'm going to be reading is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I first saw on Kevin the Irish Reader's video that he did, where he did a book swap with his mother, which if you haven't seen, go watch it, it's adorable. And that was the first time I'd ever seen this book, and then I bought it, and I haven't read it yet. The third book I picked is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. The first time I really saw this talked about in a video was on Read with Cindy's channel, and I watched her video, I believe it was entitled Six of Hoes, and I was like, yes, I think I need this book. So that's my third choice. I'm just gonna go ahead, read those books, and I'll keep you posted on what I think. So I'm reading Radio Silence, and I've just hit part 2, and I really like it. So something I try to do with a lot of the books I read is try to go in as blind as I possibly can. Like look up enough to know if I'm going to enjoy it, but not too much that I know what to expect. But honestly, with this book, I really didn't look up anything. All I know is that Kat loves this book, and yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. Frances, I love as a main character. I feel like I relate to her a lot. I'll kind of talk more about that when I wrap it up, but I relate to her a lot. And Aled, I love Aled. I want to protect him at all costs. There's a lot of ominous past tense stuff going on. Kind of at the end of a few of the chapters, there's been kind of a thing of, oh, if only I'd known then what I know now kind of thing, which is very ominous, and I'm kind of scared, but also it's really easy to read. I've got a fair chunk done in pretty much one sitting and barely felt it. So also there's a dog barking, but yeah, really enjoying it so far, and I'm excited / scared to see where it goes. So I've hit like 75%, and all I have to say is Carol. So last night I finished Radio Silence, and I loved it. Spoilers, I love this book. So I ended up reading this book in one single 5-hour sitting, which, go me. I just wanted to talk about some of the stuff that I loved so much about it. The main thing is how much I related to Frances, the main character, and the whole school plotline, because honestly, I think I'm Frances. There's just so many things about her character that I relate to a point where it's kind of odd. Just like the pressures of always being the top of your class and the whole rivalry with other students, and it's just so stupid, and I feel like most people just kind of get into that accidentally. It's just you start out in school and, for example, say you are top of your maths class, and then suddenly that's the expectation of you, and even if you're not enjoying it and you don't want to be doing it, you end up, that just consumes you, and that becomes everything in your life. You know, she has no real social life or friends really, because she spends all her time studying, and because that's what's expected of her, that's what she's expected to do. She's expected to go to Cambridge, do an academic degree, and succeed in that area, even though she doesn't really want to. But at this point, at the same time, she doesn't know that she doesn't want to, because that's all she's known, and that is relatable, ladies and gentlemen. There's just pressure in all kind of aspects, and I know how overprivileged that can make you sound, like, oh, she's clever, oh, pity her, but that's not what it is, and it's really difficult to deal with, and I think it's discussed really well in this book, and I felt understood despite the fact that I am older than these characters, because even now, at 22, I've never had this discussion with anybody, because I don't know, it's just difficult to start that conversation, because again, there's no way to sound not like you're complaining because, oh, I'm clever, but like, you know, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, because I'm not good at words. And there's one conversation that she has with Daniel at one point, and I don't think this is spoilers, but there's one conversation that she has where they're kind of talking about, you know, going to university, and when you start to meet people of the same level as you in other schools and places, and again, that's really difficult to deal with. And he says one line which hit me in the heart, which was, once you get to this age, you realise that you're not that special anymore. Oh, honestly, when I tell you, that really hit me. Yeah, again, I don't know if everyone will feel the same way about this, but as somebody who went through this and is still dealing with this, I really enjoyed it, and I really wish I could have given this book to a 16-year-old Skylar about to start her A-levels, or an 18-year-old Skylar about to go to uni, because I honestly feel like it would have really benefited my mental health. I would have felt more understood and less alone, you know? And I'm just glad there are now other teenagers who will get to read this and will get to feel that way. And another thing that this book does really well is LGBT plus representation. I know Alice Oseman, kind of all her books have LGBT plus representation in them, I believe. I think that's super important and really nice to see. But also what I appreciate is this representation of all different kinds. You know, in this book alone we have bisexual representation, we have gay representation, we have asexual representation, and I just think that's really important. Again, proves my point of how this book is really important for making people feel less alone, whether that's to do with school, like it was for me, or whether that's to do with sexuality, or even both, you know? I feel like Alice Oseman just is able to really discuss these topics really nicely and make people feel understood, you know? Even my old 22-year-old person. There's also obviously the topic of mental health and parental struggles, which again I think is handled well and talked about well, and again is really important to talk about. There was one part which I didn't think was necessary, but that was just one part. The rest of it I thought was really well handled. Overall, honestly, this book just kind of did a number on me. I really, really loved it, and I can't thank Kat enough for never shutting up about this book, because I feel like now I'm never going to shut up about this book. I just think it's a really well written book and talks about a lot of different topics that a lot of people find difficult to open up about, and I think it opens up a lot of discussion. Easily a 5-star from me. A shock to absolutely nobody. I really just think I love this book. And I'm really excited now to read more Alice Oseman novels. She's just gonna take over my life, I can tell. Excellent start to my Booktube made me buy it thing I've got going on, so maybe I should trust Booktube more. Although this is only the first book, so we'll find out about the other two, but I have high hopes about those two. The second book I'm going to read is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I am excited for that. That will also be my first Taylor Jenkins read. I'm excited, and I'll see you there. Okay, so I'm officially 24% in to Evelyn Hugo. I'm just hit chapter 15, and I really like it. I wasn't sure about the whole format of the book, going in with the whole kind of interview style and like the biographical style of it, but it's very interesting to read actually, and I don't think I'd want it told any other way, which is really new for me because I don't really read books told in this way, but I'm really enjoying it. And I'm on the section about her second husband, Don Adler, and it is absolutely heartbreaking. Some of the topics that get brought up are kind of difficult to read about, and yeah, I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give spoilers, but yeah, it feels very real and very raw, but so far so good, and I'll keep you posted. Quickfire 60% update. I'm really enjoying this book, and I would like to say that I am now president of the Harry Cameron fan club. I love him. I went through like a phase at 50% where I got very heartbroken, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's just, it feels like a real person, and it's bizarre to think that it's not. It's just blowing my mind because I keep forgetting that she's not real. I don't know, is that weird? Probably. I don't know, but I'm probably going to finish by tomorrow, so I'll see you at the finish line. So I'm at the end of the book, almost, and I knew that this was going to end with me heartbroken, and I thought I was prepared for it, but apparently not, because now I'm still crying over it. Ugh. I don't know, this entire like last section kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, and now my heart hurts. I finished The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I'm obsessed. I don't know which way to talk about this book, honestly. I'm obsessed with it. I was really not sure going in because I don't read a lot of contemporary fiction. I especially don't read historical fiction. Like, I genuinely couldn't name you one historical fiction book I've read. It isn't something that's ever interested me. But this one, I'm so glad I read it. I'm absolutely obsessed. I think the writing was incredible. So the book is told from an interview kind of perspective, kind of biographical. As somebody who doesn't read non-fiction, that was also something that was kind of worrying because it really felt like non-fiction. It felt real. But that ends up being what I loved so much about it. I think the writing of this book is incredible because I genuinely had to keep reminding myself that Evelyn Hugo doesn't really exist. Which sounds really stupid because, and also I remember in Kevin's video, his mother was asking for, where she could find more things about Evelyn Hugo, and she thought she was real, and I thought, there's no way that like actually is a thing. But I really had to keep reminding myself because I wanted nothing more than to go on a marathon of Evelyn Hugo films. She was just, she's an incredible character. She's strong. She makes selfish decisions. She makes bad decisions, but she does all these things for the people she loves. And I don't know, there's a lot of topics discussed in the book that are very difficult. Domestic violence, alcohol abuse, grief, abortion, a bunch of different topics. But I think they're all handled and discussed really well, and they're all really important topics as well. So I think that was a really strong point of the book as well. Sexuality is a really important part of the book. a lot of the characters, the main characters, are gay, lesbian, bisexual, and it's a very big part of the story and how sexuality was treated in, you know, the 50s and the 60s, and even how it is still treated today, and kind of how Evelyn and the other characters navigate that while also being in the public eye. I just think the relationships in the book were really well written, and I just love the book so much. I'm so obsessed. Oh, I really didn't expect it, and it really came out of left field, but I just can't stop thinking about it after finishing it. I've just found myself completely enamoured by Evelyn Hugo's character, which, you know, makes sense because that's kind of her character, is that she has that effect on people, and it really speaks to the writing that she had that effect on me, and she's not even real, you know. Like, I just think the book is incredible and everybody should read it. It's one of my new favourite books for sure. Thank you, Kevin, for the wonderful recommendation, because you've changed my life. I love this book. I also own Daisy Jones and the Six, and now I'm even more excited to read that. Now, I'll get into talking about Six of Crows. So I'm on page 160, which is chapter 12, I think, and I'm like a third of the way. I'm really enjoying it. I swear there are books that I don't like, because I feel like I say this about every single book and every single update. So one of the main things that I was kind of worried about was the amount of character perspectives we get, because I often feel like if there are too many, I don't really get attached to characters and it's just difficult. But I haven't come across that issue so far, because I feel like the chapters are just long enough so I can develop a relationship with the characters, but also I really enjoy the switch up between chapters, so you get kind of everyone's perspective. I really like that. I'm just enjoying getting to know everyone, and yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. Kaz is my boy, and he's giving me strong Sherlock vibes. BBC Sherlock, because like he just knows everything's gonna happen. He's arrogant and cocky, and just he's a Sherlock kind of character. I'm on page 272, which is part 4, which is The Trick to Falling. And again, I'm really liking it. I don't know why I bother with updates anymore, because it seems like I just like everything I read. But anyway, I just really like the characters in this book so far. I think I don't dislike any of them so far. Nina is my favourite at this point, and I love how in everyone's chapters we're getting kind of flashbacks to their past, and we're getting a lot of flashbacks right now of Nina and Matthias. I think that's how you say his name, I could be wrong, and their past and what happened with them, and I just love them so much. I just love all the characters, and I just like seeing how they all interact, and they're all very different, so I don't feel bored ever. I'm really flying through it now as well at this point. I'm reading it really fast. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed again. Everyone just has such good recommendations apparently. I will just say, I had a spoiler this morning for Crooked Kingdom, and I'm mad. People, please stop spoiling things. If you're gonna spoil things, say you're gonna spoil them. Ugh. So I'm mad, but what can you do? We move on. Anyway, really good. Enjoying it a lot. Probably gonna finish it fairly soon, and I am excited. I would also just like to say, I put this in a Goodreads update, and it probably won't make any sense to anyone but me, but so far it's given me Sherlock, Peaky Blinders, Ocean's 8 vibes. But also I would just like to point out that I've never seen Peaky Blinders, so that might not make any sense at all, but Kaz Brecker just seems like a Peaky Blinder to me. I don't know. I said this to my boyfriend and he was like, but you've never seen Peaky Blinders? I was like, I know, but he just seems like a Peaky Blinder. I don't know. I'll update you. So yesterday I finished Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, And let me tell you, I'm also obsessed with this. So a really strange thing happened with this book where I finished it and I thought I was going to give it a 4.5 star, like bordering on a 5 star, but not quite. But then I was talking to my friend who really does not like this book, and I think she gave it a 2 star. And as I was talking about it, I just kept rambling about and just listing off things and just being like, oh my god, but this. And then I realised, I was like, wait, am I obsessed with this book? And I am. Again, another book where the characters really sold me on this entire thing, because on face value, the plot really isn't something that I would find interesting. I did end up finding it interesting, but the characters are the main thing that I loved. Nina is my absolute dream of a character. I absolutely adore her character. Just all of them. I don't think there's a single character that I didn't like. Kaz, I just love Kaz. He's like Sherlock, and he's kind of like House. If you've ever seen House MD, that's Kaz Brecker. The relationships, oh, I just love them. I really thought the main romantic relationship in this book was going to be Kaz and Inej, but that was not the relationship that ended up taking the forefront for me. I'm not going to say who, but there was another relationship which I'm an enemies to lovers kind of gal, and I got what I needed. Yeah, I will say, I wish we got a Wylan chapter, because it was a little bit weird that we got a chapter for every one of the main 6 except Wylan, but we'll probably get that in Crooked Kingdom, I'd imagine. But that was the only thing in terms of structure of the book that I didn't really enjoy, because I actually ended up really enjoying the multiple perspectives aspect, which I didn't really expect to, but I did. One thing that I found really odd about the writing was the age of the characters, and I know Cindy said this in her video as well. I don't like the fact that they're supposed to be 16, 17. It doesn't make sense to me. The way they act and the way they behave doesn't match, and I don't like it. When I started reading, I was like, I'm just gonna pretend these are like mid-20s, because I feel like they're just so much better suited to a new adult age range. So I just pretended, because I don't like the young adult thing with these characters. It doesn't make sense, it doesn't fit, it didn't flow well for me. So that was the only thing I found a little weird. Another thing I really liked about the writing was the foreshadowing. I feel like a lot of books, especially YA books, when they use foreshadowing, is really in your face and really obvious and not very effective. But there was a couple of moments towards the end of this book where I picked up on a couple of things, and I feel like the foreshadowing was really good and just subtle enough for you to get it, but not when you first see the foreshadowing. You don't just automatically know what's going to happen. So, but then later on when you work it out, you're like, oh my god, yes. You know, it's subtle and it's really effective, especially for a YA, I feel. Overall, I love this book, and I don't know what to tell you. I just love this book. So, with 3 for 3, who expected to go into this video and end up with 3 5-stars? Because I didn't. Not because I don't trust recommendations, but because, I mean, 6 of Crows was kind of the one that I was the most kind of hyped for, and the one I was expecting to like the most. But the other 2 were kind of a gamble, particularly Radio Silence. Radio Silence really shocked me, because, as I said, I don't read a lot of contemporary fiction, and I did not know anything about the plot going in, so that was really a gamble. And I ended up loving it. I don't know, I'm so happy with how this video went. Honestly, I found 3 new favourite books, and I couldn't ask for anything better. If you've read any of these, let me know what you thought, because I have a lot of thoughts and I love these books. I might do this again sometime, because there are definitely more books that I own that I bought because of Booktube and haven't read yet. So I might do this again, because it was fun, and hopefully I'll have the same success that I did this time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!